a lot of key takeaways, and I find interesting that the survey is actually varies a lot depending on which part of the world you're talking to. So a few nuggets that came out of it. You're very right. Digital and leaner are there to stay. Flexible work environments are there to stay. And I think a lot of the optimism that you're seeing has to do with government handling, the support provided. We're seeing in Europe people very eager to see what happens to the stimulus package. And what you're seeing is there's overall negativity, but if you also look at positive sentiment, it just comes from a very low back in March when the crisis hit, and the outlook is improving. So are there problems? Absolutely. But there are steps that are showing improvement, and that is what the survey is showing.
One thing also, Tassos, I'm looking at, and again, it's a fascinating survey, but 41% of leaders expect their total fixed investments to remain the same as in the next 12 months, pretty evenly split on those who are seeing increases or decreases as well. But the trend globally for fixed asset investment, capital spending over the last 25 years has been quite appalling, no matter what part of the world you try and find, certainly in the developed world as well. Do you think then there's going to be a sea change in actually the amount of spending on fixed assets?
No, I actually don't think so. And that is something you're seeing if you look at the survey and if you look at research that we're doing at the I Group, it pretty much shows the same thing, i.e. fixed investment is pretty much flat. Europe, you're actually seeing 38% of the CEOs looking at a reduction in investment. And I think as you're moving into more agility and workforce, I don't think that people are really focusing on large fixed investments going forward.
Can I pick up, Tassos, and just ask you about the geographical breakdown? Because I thought this was fascinating. And it seems remarkable to me as we look at the recovery that's taking place in the United States, the rest of the world, in capital market terms, almost seems to be pricing off the certainty of a US recovery at this point. Tell us about the geographical breakdown. Is it clear in what you're seeing in the North American YPO response that America is doing better, or at least expectations are firmer?
Jeff, that's a great point, and you're spot on. So if I look at the US that you mentioned, when we said that most of our CEOs have a negative outlook, when it comes to the US, the percentage of CEOs that are seeing a positive outlook is 40%. Now, what is interesting is that if we look back in March, that same percentage was at 9%. So we're looking at the quadrupling, right, within 6 months, a quadrupling of the positive outcome. We're seeing something similar in Australia and New Zealand, right, where from 14%, you're up to 44% of CEOs having a positive economic outlook going forward. So indeed, there is a huge geographical split. And indeed, in the US, there is a big pickup from CEOs as to what they expect. And I think since the CEOs are making the investment decisions in businesses, their actions are likely to also be shown in other real numbers coming out in the next few months.